What's good? And thank you for tuning in today. Today on the show, we're going to talk about, is your goal going to cost you your integrity? Let's kick this conversation off right. As we've gotten into 2026, we're just in the beginning stages of it. So much has happened in the world. So much stuff is going on. So many things are transpiring all at one time. And it got me thinking. Everybody has their New Year's resolutions that they've made. Everybody has that thing that they're trying to get to or aspire to or want to accomplish this year. But how many of us ever ask the question, what is it going to cost us to reach this goal? What do we have to sacrifice? What do we have to do? Do we have to compromise our beliefs? Do we have to change who we are? What do we have to give up to reach this goal? So, in looking the events of today and what's going on in the world, you see individuals showing their true hand, showing who they are, showing what they're willing to do to get to where they want to get to. I've grown up with the motto, it doesn't matter how you get to the goal, just as long as you get there. That's a fair point. But if I've burnt the whole house down while trying to get to my goal, did I really achieve something? If I've destroyed my family and trying to get to a level to where I could take care of my family, did I really achieve something? If I've destroyed my car and trying to fix my car, did I really achieve something? So we can't get to this point where we're willing to just burn it all down. We're willing to destroy it just to put it back together. Now, in some instances, some things need to be destroyed. Sometimes you got to tear down what isn't working and rebuild it to something that is working. But in doing so, you don't want to build it on the same foundation and the same principles that your previous establishment was built on. You don't want to build it on lies and deceits and things that are unbecoming. Because if your foundation isn't built on a sturdy rock, if it isn't built on solid ground, then your whole house is going to crumble. So what's the point of starting all over? What's the point of ripping it all down just to set it up on a foundation that's going to eventually crumble? What we're seeing right now is individuals, be it in power or in personal lives, they're willing to build their house near the beach. They're willing to build their house on the sand just to say they have a beach house. We'll use the flood zone. We'll use flood zones. I live in Texas. Texas is prone to floods, especially in hurricanes. You have a lot of people who will build their house in a flood zone. You can Google it, you can look it up. Boom, it's known. This is a flood zone. But hey, I'm getting this $500,000 house and the view is perfect. This is the view I want. I have an oceanside view. It looks wonderful. My house is gonna look wonderful, and everything is gonna be peaching ching and perfect. And it's gonna look nice for a time. And then a hurricane comes through Texas and the waters get high and the house gets swept away. Then you're sitting down like, oh well, why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? But you knew going into the situation, you were already building in a less than desirable area. So again, you got the goal you wanted, you got the house. It's beautiful. But at the cost of getting the house, you compromise your safety, you compromise your family just to say that you had a house in a beautiful area. Now, I'm not saying that's everybody, but I'm using that example to say, what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want? The goal is the end result. The goal is just the end of that part of your journey. But what people will remember is not the goal you got to. People will also remember how you got to that goal. So if I get to my goal by swindling people out of their money, if I get to my goal by tearing down everybody else, who's going to care about the goal when I've burnt everybody in the process? Who will I have to share it with? A lot of times we look at the end result that we're aiming towards, but we don't stop to think about how we're going to get there. What do I have to do? It's funny because I have kids, and one of my kids is gearing up for college, and my other two are in their junior year in high school. And one of the things myself and my wife keep on telling our kids is, how do you want to get there? You want a scholarship? What do you need to do to get to this scholarship? What do you need to do to get to where these colleges are looking at you? How do you need to align yourself? How do you need to position yourself? Because at the end of the day, mom and dad can't run this race for you. At the end of the day, mom and dad can't make these colleges pick you up. Your actions, what you put out. Yeah, the goal is to get picked up, but we also remind our kids that your social media presence, what is your social media presence? Because these colleges are looking at that. You think a college is going to want you if you got a social media where your presence is, I'm sticking up the bird, acting all types of less than desirable? Or are they going to want you if your social media presence help further your goal? Again, the goal is to get picked up, but the journey is what people are going to look at. They want to see, how did you start it to how you end, and that's going to determine whether they want to be a part of your next goal or join you on the journey. I feel coming into 2026, you're looking at individuals who say they stand for something. I stand for truth, justice, and the American way of life. But you're willing to let the country burn just so you can stay in power. Goal, stay in power. Your journey, I'm gonna let it burn. As long as at the end of the day I come out on top, what does it matter? You see that in businesses. The goal is to make money. How are we going to make money? Oh, well, we're going to cut everybody's hours. We're going to take this away. We're getting the old phrase, it takes money to make money. You see it with parents. I want it to behave. I want my kid to do this. I want my kid to do that. I want to have a relationship with my kid. I want my kid to love me and spend time with me and all this other stuff. But how much time and effort have you invested towards that goal of building that relationship with your kid? How much time and effort have you invested in learning your kid? You got to sacrifice some things in order to get to that. So for a business, it may be, we're going to raise our top performers. We're going to give them $1 raise. The ones who come in second place, we're going to give them a 50-cent raise. The ones who come in third place, we'll give them a 25-cent raise. We're going to invest in better equipment. We're going to invest in training. You have to put forth something that's going to inspire people to reach the goal you're trying to get to. If you're a business, for parents, it's, what, let me get off my phone, let me go talk to my kids. You know what, yeah, I got enough PTOs, I got enough time off. I'm gonna take a PTO, and I'm gonna take the kids out of school, and we're gonna go on a trip. Again, what are you going to do to help get to this goal without losing your sense of self? Without losing what makes you who you are, or compromising your core beliefs or your principles. If your core belief is, I'm not gonna steal, but yet you support a person who is stealing, or you're willing to turn the other cheek or look the other way or act like it didn't happen, and good goddamn well they're stealing, then that's not really a core principle or belief. Because if it's your core belief, it's something that you're going to stand by, it's something you're going to uphold, something you're willing to die behind, and you're going to uphold everybody else to that same standard. So what exactly are your core beliefs? What exactly do you stand on? What is your solid foundation that, what, you crossed the line that I just can't go no further. I feel right now what we're seeing is, we're finding out people don't have core beliefs. People don't have principles. They don't have anything that they're willing to stand on, because they're willing to bend the moment it shows that they're going to lose something. The moment it shows that they got to give up something. It's easy to cast a bet when you ain't got no skin in the game. When you got skin in the game, you hold your change kind of close. It's easy to tell somebody what they should do when at the end of the day, it ain't going to affect your household. But when it comes back to affecting your household, then the rules kind of change up. The rules are different. Again, what is your goal going to cost you? How is it going to make you better? I feel we have these goals, we have these things that we're reaching for, that we want to do, that we want to be. But how does it make you better? How does it uplift you? And how is it going to affect the people closest to you? What example are you setting for the people who look up to you? A lot of people got mad at the spoof Drewski did about the mega churches. Okay. Me personally, I found nothing offensive about it. He was speaking truth to facts. But a lot of people are, oh, that ain't my church, and he's going to hell. I don't play with God, and you can't. But Drewski didn't play with God. Drewski just made an example of things that he's seen how y'all play with God, how y'all make it about the money. But don't worry, it reminds me of Don't Be a Menace. Don't ask how come or why come the pastor does this or has this. Don't ask no questions. I said, don't ask. But I said all that to say, as Christians, our goal is to lead others to Christ. Our goal is to spread the good gospel. We have the goal, but people are not worried about coming to Christ because they're looking at the journey that you're taking to get people to Christ. If every time I come to church and they talking about, sow a seed, God's going to bless you, sow a seed. Well, I don't know nothing about farming. I've never tilled a farm or held anything like that. But I do know from my grandma's gardening, you don't sow seeds every day. Every week, I don't need to go out and plant new seeds. There's a time to sow. There's a time to reap. And the in-between time, you water it and you let nature take its course. So I'm saying that to say a lot of Christians are more worried about the optics of being a Christian than actually getting down and doing the work. So how does that help God? How does that help your end goal? How does that help you reach what you want to do or what you're trying to do? How can you lead others to Christ when you're sitting down there cherry picking which part of the Bible is important and which part isn't? That goes contrary to what you're trying to do. Again, you're trying to reach a goal of bringing people to Christianity, but it's costing you because you're trying to cherry pick and make it seem like there's certain things in this world that are greater than the other when God said sin is sin. Romans chapter 3, verse 23, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. John chapter 3, verse 16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. The two pillars of the Bible right there. Two pillars. And nowhere in those pillars does it say, well, if you're homosexual, you're worse than a heterosexual. No, if you're a homosexual and a heterosexual male and female having sex outside of wedlock, sin is sin. It's all the same. There's no one is above the other. The only great sin is denying Jesus Christ. But Jesus died so you may have life everlasting and you have the ability to repent. That's the message we should be sticking out there, not trying to justify or correct or say how somebody's journey is wrong or right or anything else like that. My wife's favorite saying, I don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. So it's not my place to judge. All I can do is show you the way. I saw some stuff on TikTok about the Christians who were playing loud noise or heckling the Buddhist monks who were doing a walk for peace. And I've also seen some other videos of people criticizing the Buddhist monks because they're Buddhist monks and they're walking for peace. Again, you want to lead others to Christ, but yet you're showing people that you as a Christian, you're judgmental, you're a bigot. I'm going to call you what you are. You're a bigot. Because at least they're doing something. Regardless of what they believe, they're doing something that they believe in. As the Christians, what are y'all doing about what y'all believe in? I don't see missionary work happening on a regular. I don't see people going out there feeding the homeless. Heck, I live in Houston. We got a whole homeless community. I don't see the mega churches out there. Well, you know what? We gonna go out into the streets and preach and feed them. It's pulling teeth. Just trying to get the church to step in and help. But yet, y'all want to criticize these Buddhist monks who are doing a walk for peace. They're not asking you for anything. They're not sitting up there going out there trying to convert people to their religion. They're just doing what they feel they need to do to make the world a better place. The question is, what are you doing to make the world a better place? What are you doing to further your goal besides sitting down telling somebody how what they're doing or what they believe in is wrong? It's asinine. Again, you can't create chaos and say, my goal is for peace, but in the process of trying to get peace, I'm going to sow and create as much chaos as possible. You can't get peace from chaos. If your goal is peace, or if your goal is to grow or whatever, you have to do things that are going to align with your goal. Again, it boils back down to, where's your integrity at? Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody's looking, not when the cameras are on, not when you have all eyes on you. When nobody's looking, what are you doing? And the crazy part about it, and I'm going to end with this, when you think nobody's looking, 9 times out of 10, that's when everybody's watching. And if ain't nobody on earth watching, my Father up in heaven is watching. Everything done in the dark will soon come to light. That's something I believe in. So line yourself up with a goal that won't cost you or compromise you, your integrity, your core values, or the things you believe in. Always do the right thing when nobody's looking. Always. And if you don't know what the right thing is, then you probably should go do some soul searching or ask a friend or go to a pastor. I'm pretty sure there's people out there who could tell you what is right and what is wrong. Don't become desensitized or look for justification in a wrongdoing just because it furthers your agenda. That's all I got for y'all this week. Again, if you're new to this, hit that like, follow, comment, share, and subscribe button. If you're true to this, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this week's episode, and I'll holler at y'all again. Peace.